Hello everyone, I'm Sanathi Guruke, Research Assistant from the Department of Geography, University of Sri Chavadrapura. Today, I'm going to present our research title, Post-Landslide Damage Assessment and Development of a GIS-based decision support system for landslide risk reduction in Sri Lanka's Central Highlands. This study was conducted by researchers from the Department of Geography and the International Center for Multidisciplinary Studies at the University of Sri Chavadrapura, Sri Lanka. Landslides are among the most destructive natural hazards affecting Sri Lanka, especially within the Central Highlands region. Every year, heavy rainfall, unstable slopes, and human activities contribute to severe landslides events that damage infrastructure, settlements, agricultural lands, and even result in loss of human lives. The increasing frequency of extreme weather events linked to climate change has further intensified this problem. Because of this, post-landslide damage assessment has become very important for identifying affected areas and understanding the severity of damage. Traditional assessment methods are often time-consuming and difficult in mountainous terrain. Therefore, this study focuses on the use of Geographical Information System, also known as GIS, together with remote sensing technologies to improve disaster management, assessment, and planning. Another important aspect of this research is the development of a GIS-based decision support system. This system helps decision makers, disaster management authorities, and local communities to make informed decision making, disaster response, evacuation planning, and risk reduction. So, overall, this study combines geospatial technologies with practical disaster management applications to improve landslide risk management in Sri Lanka. Now moving to the statement of the problem, landslides in Sri Lanka's Central Highlands are increasingly rapidly due to several factors. These include intense rainfall events, climate change impacts, deforestation, unplanned land use, road constructions, and settlement expansion on unstable slopes. Although landslides frequently occur, there are still a lack of integrated system that can effectively assess damage and support recovery planning. Many disaster management activities still rely on fragmented information and manual observation. This creates delays in emergency response and increase the vulnerability of affected communities. Therefore, there is a clear need for an integrated GIS and remote sensing-based decision support system that can support damage assessment, spatial analysis, evacuation planning, and long-term landslide risk reduction. This research attempts to address that gap. Next are the objectives of the study. The main objectives of this research was to assess post-landslide damage and develop a GIS-based decision support system for landslide risk reduction in Central Highlands. In order to achieve these three specific objectives were identified. The first objective was to map and quantify post-landslide damage in selected areas of Sri Lanka's Central Highlands using remote sensing data and field verification. The second objective was to analyze spatial patterns of landslide impacts in relation to environmental and anthropogenic factors. The third objective was to develop a GIS-based decision support system that supports disaster response and recovery planning. These objectives allow the study to move from mapping toward practical disaster management application. Now let us look at the methodology and the study setting. The study was conducted in 3 divisional secretariat divisions within the Central Highlands of Sri Lanka. These were Udapalata, Kotmale, and Gangahela Korale. These areas were selected because they are highly vulnerable to slope failures and have experienced significant impact from landslides. These slides explain the data collection methods used in this study. The data were collected from the both primary and secondary sources to ensure accurate post-landslide damage assessment and GIS-based analysis. Satellite imagery was used to identify land use, land cover change, before and after landslide events. GIS tools were then applied to analyze terrain conditions, accessibility, and hazard-prone areas. Field surveys were also carried out to validate the observations from satellite imagery and to collect additional information regarding damage severity and infrastructure conditions. This slide summarizes the main analytical methods used in study to assess post-landslide damage and develop the GIS-based decision support system: data pre-processing, land use, land cover classification, change detection and landslide detection, suitability analysis, spatial and network analysis, and GIS-based decision support system. Now I will move on to the results section. This slide presents the land use and land cover classification maps of the study area before and after the cyclone event. In the pre-cyclone image, forest cover was the dominant land use type across the study area, with small areas of built-up cultivations and barren land and water bodies. After the cyclone, several land cover changes can be observed. There are noticeable variations in vegetation and forest areas, and changes in water extent can also be identified. Some areas indicate increase in barren land and disturbances caused by the cyclone impact. These differences suggest that cyclone influence land cover patterns and environmental conditions within the study area. The next result is a change detection map. Change detection analysis identified these transitions between forest, cultivation, built-up areas, barren land, and water classes. Significant changes were observed between forest and cultivation land categories. Some areas showed conversion to barren land after the cyclone impact. Land cover changes were unevenly distributed across the study area. Over the results indicate cyclone-related alteration in land use and land cover platform. This map identified areas affected by the landslide-related barren land changes within the study area. Yellow area represents no change, indicating stable land conditions. The red area indicates barren land change, with associated with landslide occurrences. Landslide-related changes are localized and scattered, occurring in limited regions. Higher concentration of detected changes can be observed specific vulnerable zones. The detected landslide locations were strongly associated with steep slope, drainage networks, unstable soil conditions, and areas with human disturbance. Road construction and settlement expansion in mountainous regions were identified as major contributing factors that increases landslide vulnerability. This information is essential for disaster preparedness and hazard zoning and future land use planning. This slide shows the accessibility analysis of critical infrastructure relief centers in the study area using GIS network analysis. The figure is divided into 4 parts. The first map shows the hospitals and their 15-minute service areas based on the road network. The purple shaded areas represent locations that can reach hospitals within 15 minutes using multimodal transportation. This indicates that most central areas have relatively good access to healthcare facilities. The second map represents the accessibility to relief centers. The dark shaded areas indicate 15-minute service coverage of relief centers. Compared to hospitals, the coverage of relief centers is more limited and concentrated in selected locations. The third map identifies the service gap areas located outside the 15-minute accessibility zones. Green areas represent locations with limited access to emergency infrastructure. The red points indicate landslide impact zones that fall within these unserved research regions. This highlights vulnerable communities that may face delays during emergency situations. The final map combines landslide impact zones with accessibility analysis to identify the priority zones. Dark blue areas represent high priority regions where landslide risk overlaps with poor accessibility. These zones require immediate attention for infrastructure improvement, emergency planning, and for the future disaster management strategies. Overall, the analysis that although some areas have adequate access to hospital and relief centers, several landslide-prone areas remain undeserved. Therefore, improving road connectivity and establishing additional relief facilities in priority zones is essential for effective disaster response and risk reduction. Next is the suitability map for the relief shelter locations. The analysis aimed to identify the most appropriate areas for establishing temporary relief shelters during disasters. GIS-based suitability analysis helps to identify safer and more accessible locations for the emergency shelters. This type of spatial planning can significantly improve disaster preparedness and reduce risk faced by the displaced populations during emergency situations. Now we are moving on to the decision support system, which is one of the key outcomes of this study. The GIS-based DSS integrates satellite imagery, field observation, and infrastructure data into a single spatial platform. This system performs analysis such as change detection, accessibility mapping, and suitability analysis to generate outputs including risk zone maps, evacuation routes, and recovery priorities. These outputs support decision-making process for disaster managers, local authorities, and emergency response teams. One of the major advantages of this system is that it transforms complex spatial data into practical information that can support real-time planning, and disaster mitigation. Therefore, the decision support system acts as a bridge between geospatial analysis and practical disaster management applications. Now, I will briefly discuss the key findings. The study confirmed that remote sensing and GIS are highly effective tools for post-landslide damage assessment and hazard evaluation in mountainous regions. The land use and land cover analysis revealed major environmental changes after landslide events, especially vegetation loss and increased exposed land areas. Terrain-related factors such as slope, elevation, drainage, and soil condition played a major role in landslide occurrence. Human activities, especially road development and settlement expansion in unstable regions, further increased the landslide vulnerability. Although the GIS-based decision support system proved highly useful, some limitations were identified. These include cloud cover in satellite imagery and the lack of real-time monitoring data. Despite these limitations, the system demonstrated a strong potential for supporting disaster management and risk reduction. Finally, I would like to conclude the presentation. This study was successfully applied remote sensing and GIS techniques, also known as geographic information techniques, in order to evaluate landslide impact following Cyclone Ditwa in 2025. The finding also showed that both natural factors and human activities contribute significantly to landslide accessibility in Sri Lanka's central highlands. The GIS-based decision support system proved to be a valuable tool for damage assessment, spatial planning, and disaster risk reduction. The study also highlighted the increasing influence of climate change and rapid land use changes on landslide risk. Importantly, this research helps bridge the gap between scientific geospatial analysis and practical disaster management practices. For future work, it is recommended to integrate real-time monitoring systems, SAR image, and expand the decision support system to other landslide-prone regions of Sri Lanka. Thank you so much.